One of the quicker members of our league will take us on a tour of this track. DRS all the way down towards turn 1, where, bit of an odd mistake, you don't see that happening too much. Through turns 1 and 2, the center S's, the long turn 3 left-hander, not a problem. I expect to see loads of overtakes into turn 4, as you have some DRS out of turn 3. Turn 5, just be careful you don't bin it. Easy to do that, easy to go side by side here as well, into the double right of 6 and 7. High action points, and all throughout that first sector you can go side by side, so don't be afraid to, don't be surprised to see any of that here this week. Taking plenty of curb on the exit of 9, sets you up for the little hairpin of turn 10. Flat out turn 11, but be careful on those medium and hard tyres, especially if they're worn. You may go for a bit of a spin. Out of turn 12, the final proper corner, as Exotic hopefully isn't being held up, but it looks like he's getting a nice little slipstream from his teammate there as TD crosses the line and sets us off on a 1 minute 8.2. And that is your Brazilian track. Evening, Steve, hope you're well. Plenty of lap times in the early stages. Remember, 1 18-minute quali session here tonight. So expect to see quali lap times changing all the time. You can see on your track map in the bottom right, everyone apart from 2-3 drivers is out on track right now. So it's going to get very congested very quickly, and initially 2 drivers into the 1 minute 7s so far, everyone else into the 1 minute 8s apart from a couple of banker laps from Zidane and Joseph. Very close between Sunny, Exotic and Colucci in 6th, 7th and 8th. Always 10-10 goes for a little bit of a detour off the exit of turn 4. Gets a little bit too friendly with the exit curb. Very short track here, which means there is possibilities and there is options to do 2 runs on a set of... and what? Platty has crashed into Sunny, but it looks like Sunny was on the racing line. I'm not sure what happened there from Sunny's point of view, but certainly Platty, I'm pretty sure, couldn't have got out of the way of that. And Platty will obviously have to come in for a new front wing. Well, the drama's starting already, and if you are well versed here in Brazil on this game, you've seen any league racing at Brazil, you'll know it's full of drama. Congestion, very much a problem. Although Josh, he's been massively blocked. Is that Sunny again? It is Sunny. Wow, that's 2 incidents in the same lap for Sunny. I'm sure he won't be the happiest person in the Discord server. Even so, Josh does go fastest. Just shows you how quick Mr. Josh is. So plenty of lap times on the board to chew on. 16 of them. Gap between 1st and 15th, which are what we will call the competitive times. Only separated by less than 1.2 seconds. That's how close the gaps are in this tier tonight. Little improvements going to be happening all the time. Evening, Johnny. Patch crossed the line to go 9th. Decent lap. Remember, this is just the only qualifying session tonight. Normally I'd say it doesn't matter if you're fastest, it's all about not being last. But of course, with one quali session, this is it. Oh, I deleted that one. Chat. Girthy Steve then. First we've seen of him in Season 4. And currently on a 108.9. However, just a couple of tenths, and he may even jump up into the top 12. That's how close it is on this track. Platty, after what happened earlier with Sonny, has come into the pits, out again with a brand new wing on the car, and starting a new flying lap. TD, I've deleted that one, mate. Exotic has gone fastest on a 107.732. Half a tenth separating the top three. And Scuderia improves to a 107.775, puts himself within touching distance of a spot on the front row of the grid. 10:10 out on track, improving, hasn't got a competitive lap time on the board yet, so we'll yet to see what 10:10 can manage as Platty comes across the line to go 7th. Go on board with 10:10, see what he's up to. Cross the line to start a lap now. Evening, Ross. Hope you're well. On board with 10:10, he's got a track in front of him. Only 8 milliseconds off his personal best in Sector 1. That's not too bad. Clearly, he lost the time in either Sectors 2 or 3. Beautiful braking and downshifts. A little bit wide through the middle of 9 there, but I'm sure it won't have shaved too much time off his lap. Overall, this looks pretty good. Still yet to see a competitive sector split as Deflategui goes fastest on a 107.6. Wiggles and Adrian in the last few minutes have gone into the 1-minute 7s as well, to be joined by 10:10, who goes 5th fastest. That's pretty good. And only exactly 1.3 separating the whole field in quali. That's how close it is here. Sonny had a bit of a nightmare, to be fair. Or it could be Platty who has the 5-place grid. And of course, partially blocking Josh out of turn 12. So Sonny will be hoping for a good lap here, with possible penalties coming his way after the race. Adrian. That is the Adrian we saw many, many times last season. Fastest, making it a McLaren 1-2. That's a reset to track. Sonny boy, unfortunately we've caught that. You are not allowed to reset to track in this league. Zidane then currently in unlucky 13th, but with a 13 millisecond gain he can jump ahead of Joseph Hales, who is in the pits. Half the drivers there or thereabouts in the pits for a new set of rubber on the car. 6 minutes remaining, and Zidane is 3.5 tenths to the good. That will currently drop him into the 1-minute 7s, guaranteeing him a spot in at least the top 8. But whereabouts will it be? It's a 107.8 and it's 7th place as Josh comes across the line in the background to go second fastest and split those McLarens. Very nice lap there. Obviously we can't keep an eye on every single person, which is frustrating. I'm sure people will be towing their teammates around. With everything seem overly confident this week, but I'm sure that will put him in a very happy place right now. Very close between Platty, TD and Carito and Joseph Hales. All those four in the mid-pack separated by a tenth. People can't get out of the way, says TD. Well, it is a very small track, and with 20 drivers all out on the track at the same time, it can get very congested. Colucci has backed off, so we'll go on board with Greg. That gamer tag is Polish, so I'm not going to attempt to butcher it. And Greg goes into the pits. What about Girthy Steve? Is he on a lap? Everyone in the pits apart from 3 people right now. Very, very strange to see. This could be a thing of who gets out now, back onto the track, get some track position. It could be who goes out last and gets the back track conditions. This is very interesting to see. Very fascinated to how this is going to end. Girthy Steve improves to 15th place. Decent lap there, within touching distance of Padge in sector. Drivers starting to filter back onto the track with 3.5 minutes left of the session. He's almost 1.5 tenths up through the middle sector. Would be good enough for P10 as things stand. What about this final sector? It's pretty much all straights and not too much improvement from his personal best. In the third sector, Carito goes 10th on a 1:08.1. Might have 2 laps at this. Yellow flags on the screen, just people letting drivers through. Nothing too much to worry about. Yep, Snacks very impressive with that P2 lap time in the chat. Deflator Wee back out to try and challenge his teammates. Mr. Wiggles, half a second to the good. And if he does that, it's going to be a 107.4, which will put him on provisional pole as Joseph Hales improves to 7th fastest. Here's Mr. Wiggles. Is this provisional pole? No, it's not. And it's exactly the same lap time as Adrian. He lost time in that final sector, and because Adrian posted the lap time first, he gets provisional pole. It is that close, ladies and gentlemen. I know Wiggles, he will be very frustrated at that, even in Demon. What about Padge? It's an improvement, but not on his position. Stays in 14th at the moment. TD, this one's invalid through the first sector. Girthy Steve back into the pits. What about Asthma Frog then? He's 4 tenths up through sectors 1 and 2. As Carito retires in the pits and will have 11th under his belt unless his time is beaten. Asthma Frog crossed the line. 3/10 improvement, putting him up to P15. And I know I want to come on board with Deflated Wee. Well, this one he has backed off. And Snacks is gearing up for another run. Mr. Wiggles has now entered the fray for one final attempt. Adrian, this one is invalid, so he'll have to go round again. Exotic, though, is on a flyer. No improvement in the first sector, but pretty much breaking even. Anything can happen with this lap for Exotic. Just 2 and a bit tenths, and he might find himself on the front row of the grid. Less than 1.3 seconds separating first and 20th. Every millisecond counts, and their final flying run will be very nerve-wracking. How are your nerves? Checkered flag has fallen. Josh has finished in 4th, Platty in 12th, Padge in 14th, Asma 15th, and Girthy Steve in 16th place. Exotic Planes comes across the line and steals 3rd place from Snacks. But can Snacks respond? No, he can't. He's into the pits. And Deflated Wee is off the track and will not be improving in this session. Wiggles comes across the line, and that is not faster than his best, so he'll have to stay 2nd for now. But Adrian's out on track, doesn't get blocked, which I'm sure we are all grateful to see, especially that McLaren driver right now, who is sitting pretty. Maybe Scuderia or Joseph or maybe 1010 can steal pole position away. There's a lot of traffic coming up for Adrian. Doesn't get a slipstream to the line. Is it going to be quicker? No, it's not. It's only marginally slower. And Scuderia has invalidated, and so has Joseph Hales. So not much improvement on those final runs. And that is all she wrote. Adrian, pole position is yours. Congratulations. But very taking a spot on the 2nd row alongside Snacks. As for Josh and Deflated Wheat, battling for the title last season, they'll be starting in 5th and 6th respectively. Scuderia, tipped as a very, very hot prospect this season, will start in 7th place. And Joseph Hales, not too bad at all, down there in 8th. 1010 and Zidane, very impressive laps there, rounding out the top 10. Only 4 tenths separating that top 10. Carito, Platty, TD, Padge, Asma Frog, Girthy Steve, Mr. Colucci, Aya, Greg, and Sonny, who has a 5-place grid penalty, but that won't matter. Complete our qualifying. Less wind, tunnel time, might lose some of their aero and might have a slower car, who knows. For now though, we focus on Brazil. Sprint race, 18 laps here in Brazil, is underway. And a good start from Adrian. Mr. Wiggles has had a decent start, maintains 2nd place into the 1st corner. Try and catch some of the midfield action, usually where a lot of the pieces of contact happen off the start, but not today. Snacks has had a bad start, as in the background we got Sonny spinning and getting some damage, and another reset to track. Please do not reset to track in our league. You are not allowed. And 2 Ferraris having a bit of a mare. Joseph Hill's running wide at turn 4, and Aya having a spin in the middle of turn 4. Not a nice corner there for the Italian Scuderia team. The rest of them, though, look to have had a pretty good start. We have Mr. Colucci going off at turn 2 as well. I'm not too sure what happened there with Colucci, and I'm not sure what happened with Snacks either, but it looked like maybe he just got a bad start. And alongside what happened in turn 4 for the Ferraris, apart from that, everything is nice and good for the opening lap. Girthy Steve pits, so might have some damage. It's the only way I can, the only prediction I can make. But no, he is just changing the tyres. Speaking of tyres, he has hopped onto a set of the hard compounds. Some using the soft, and most using the medium. I wasn't around on Tuesday to watch this bit of the race, so I don't know if the softs can make it. Maybe you guys at home know if they can or not, but Adrian is opting for the soft compound tyre, but is not driving away from the rest of the pack, so maybe Exotic has fired up those mediums very well and is very confident. Maybe Adrian is just trying to keep the wear down. But Exotic, I'm sure, if an opportunity presents itself, he will be going for that move for the lead of the race. And lap 3, you know what that means. DRS is now active. TD is dropping places. I wonder what's happened with him in the first sector. He's not losing any time to Asma right now, so maybe just had to get out of the way, maybe went off track and had to come back on safely. Girthy Steve has retired in the pits, but his night is not over. Feature race will follow this race. This top 7 in a train. First and last driver of this train using the soft compound. Then we got a 4-way battle for 8th. Joseph Hales, Zidane, 1010 and Platy. Then we got Padge, who's trying to get back in DRS range of that group. He's got Greg for company behind, and Snacks, Asma, TD, Colucci, Sonny and I are currently without the DRS behind those group. This part of the race is a very crucial one, actually. Usually you'd say the opening 2 laps and the last 2 laps maybe are the most crucial, but this is the mentality zone, I'm going to call it. It sounds a bit weird. I'll call it the mentality zone. We'll stick with it. This is where you decide how you're going to race. Are you going to be conservative? Are you going to be aggressive? Are you going to try something different? This is the time in the race where those decisions need to be made. For example, is Exotic going to overtake for the lead? Or is he just going to make Adrian use as much ERS as he can? Well, the option he took was to take the lead of the race, and this has now provided a very close fight between Adrian and Mr. Wiggles, and Mr. Wiggles says, "Thank you very much, I will capitalise on that," as Deflated Wee now is directly behind his teammate. You see the red light flashing on the back of Mr. Wiggles and Adrian, so you can see Adrian was using the ERS to stay ahead. Now Adrian can save his battery and use DRS instead. Adrian's pitting. Now, why is Adrian pitting? Interesting. Deflated Wee with a time penalty for corner cutting. And Adrian is on to a set of medium compound tyres, so maybe it is a simple one-stop here. Zidane also pits. Wee and Exotic fighting through turns 6 and 7. Bit of contact. Deflated Wee will have to sit behind that Alfa Romeo for another chunk of time. If Exotic continues to defend from Deflated Wee for too much longer, there's a bit more contact, and Mr. Wiggles might run away with this here and get out of DRS range. Thank you for the follow, Jack. Appreciate that. TD overtaking Asma Frog for proud ownership of P12. Carito Pitts from 5th place. So those soft tyres seem to be lasting 5 or 6 laps, which means for these medium runners we'll expect to see them into the pits around about lap 12 or 13. So for the next 5 or 6 laps, this top 5 are going to be fighting. Try and catch up with some other battles happening. 10-10 ahead of Joseph Hales now, and ahead of Platty. Yellow flag in sector 3. Sonny struggling a little bit on this sprint race. And Mr. Wiggles is off. Our race leader has made a huge mistake. And he will not be happy. Evening to you, Jay. It's not over for Wiggles. I mean, he's still in the points. He can get past Padge. He will take away a point, so it's not the end of his race or the end of his night. Certainly by any shot of the Imagine, but now that battle up top is a 4-way fight. Flaterwee's time penalty as Sonny retires on track. Once again, a little bit naughty, and hopefully that doesn't affect anyone. Thankfully the car is gone from Sonny. Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. It just shows not everyone reads the rules. Very difficult to enforce that. Can't force anyone to read something, but I'll just get a penalty. Maybe then they'll stop. So in quali, he had a big, I think he blocked Josh. He had a collision with Platty, which cost Platty a front wing, and Snacks is into the pits where he gets a speeding penalty. So that's going to affect his race, and he does just retire. Furthermore, Sonny reset to track twice in quali as well. So, yeah. And on lap 1 too. Yes, you are correct. So, yes. A few potential penalties for Sonny here tonight. Jump on board with Scuderia, who is the closest he's been to the back of Josh's Red Bull. Snacks' AI has been brought out onto the track, thankfully not causing any problems there. The issue is not everyone does league racing, so when you dip your toe into league racing, some people don't know what to expect and what they're allowed and not allowed to do. Some leagues will allow you to reset to track. Most, I would say, don't allow that. So maybe Sonny just hasn't had that experience in his life yet. It's nothing personal, it's just a reminder is needed, it would seem. So, this is turning into a bit of a chess match. Bit of drafting going on from Scuderia and Josh. Weaving slightly, not dangerously, but slightly... Scuderia's gone for the move. Josh struggling on energy, giving each other space. Everything we love to see. And Scuderia up into the top 3 will become second place with Deflated Wee's time penalty. So, nice move there from Scuderia. Not an easy thing to pass Josh on track. Yellow flag in sector 1. That's an Aston Martin of Mr. Colucci. Turn 2, not his favourite corner this evening. Exotic Planes now 9/10 ahead of Deflated Wee. Deflated Wee will get the DRS here. However, he's into the pits. This might release Scuderia to catch up, or it may provide an opportunity for Exotic to get out of DRS range. This is very interesting. Hadge speeding in the pits. 5-second penalty will be added onto his finishing time. 17 left in this race. Joseph Hales has gone on to the hard compound tyres. I wonder if he has clicked his MFD in the wrong direction. But certainly, I imagine Joseph would want to go onto the soft compound. Just lost the rear out of nowhere, same corner. Somebody reset in front of me on Sunday. Can't remember who. Lost stream, which doesn't help. It happens. Sometimes they slip away, but most of the time we do get them. Was you last season, but it's not hard. Hey, it's just getting used to it. Colucci retires in the pits, but there's another feature race coming up after this one. 10-10 does pit from 4th place. Josh is staying out though, going for an overcut. Could be powerful if he's got the pace. Reg stays out too. A hefty amount of drivers pitting, 6 at the same time. 3 exiting, 3 entering. And it looks like Mr. Colucci's AI has taken him out into the path of Exotic, where he is overtaken by Deflated Wee. Now, it won't matter too much because Wee has that penalty. Crucially, though, Exotic is out ahead of Adrian, who had the alternate strategy. And crucially, that little undercut change of strategy for Adrian doesn't seem to have paid off for him at the moment. Josh and Greg still need to pit. Josh will come out roughly, I'm going to say, behind Adrian and ahead of Asthma Frog. Have we had the glitch again? We are doing a 25% race, not a sprint race. So this does count as the sprint race, but it's not an actual sprint race, if you get me. Exotic trying to get those soft tyres up to temperature. Deflated Wee takes the lead of the race. Now that Josh is in the pits. And where will Josh come out? He will slot in behind Adrian and ahead of Asthma Frog. However, Frog has Carito breathing down his neck. About 14 of 18. We've got 4 laps plus the lap these guys are on. Scuderia in 10-10 have got undercut a little bit by Asthma and Carito. Crucially, though, they are ahead of Zidane. 1 less driver for them to worry about. As here comes Carito down the inside of Asthma Frog. Good driver respect between the pair, side by side. Carito, nice move, you'd have to say. Down the inside of turn 10 and gets that move done without too many issues. Will that repeat on Sunday? If this works, there's no need to change it. Scuderia then. Alpine ahead of Mercedes. And Scuderia with the quicker tyres on the car will be hoping to roar past Carito. And 2 moves in the space of 4 corners for the Alpine driver. Moves him up from 7th to 5th. Scuderia now has a 2-second gap to close down if he wants to catch Josh. Crucially, none of the top 5 have DRS anymore. Deflated Wheat will be happy with that, and his job will be to try and get a 3-second gap on Exotic. But can he do that? Is the question. On board now with 10-10. Quicker tyres on the car. Asthma Frog hasn't pitted yet. So, has he pitted yet? I'm going to check. He's not pitted yet. So he will have to pit at some point. And right now, 10-10 will be frustrated that he's just holding him up. Has so much potential, it is unreal. Not going to say he underperformed last season, but I'm sure there'll be times where he didn't finish races that I'm sure he would have loved to. Getting back to his best now. Finished 2nd last week in the season opener at Baku. Now up into 7th place as we see Josh taking control of 3rd. Surely he knows? I don't know. Maybe this is a strategy. Maybe he wants the fastest lap at the end. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know. I cannot say. Unfortunately, I am not Asthma Frog. So, with 1.5 laps remaining, Deflated Wee leads this race. However, that 3-second time penalty will drop him back at the moment to 3rd place. Adrian not quite close enough as things stand to get on the podium. Yellow flag as Asthma Frog on those worn tyres has gone for a bit of a spin at turn 8, and he drops to the back of the field there or thereabouts. Asthma Frog will get a notice from the race director saying that he needs to pit. So I expect to see Asthma in this lap. If not, we may see Asthma Frog disqualified from the race. Final lap then, Deflated Wee leads. Time penalties. Let's have a look, and we'll have a look at the leader gap now. If Adrian can stay within 3 seconds of Deflated Wee, he will be on the podium for the sprint race. If not, Deflated Wee will only lose 2 points with that time penalty. Asthma Frog retires in the pits, so doesn't matter about that pit stop anymore. Iowa with a time penalty, but that won't matter too much for their finishing position. But Deflated Wee, aside from that 3-second time penalty, started in 6th place. So I have to say, very good result to be on the podium here as Adrian comes across the line and can't quite nudge his teammate off of it. Carito finishes in 6th, Zidane 7th, Mr. Wiggles fighting back up to a spot in the top 8. Pretty good there after the earlier spin from the lead. And as Io rounds out this race, Exotic Plains takes home 8 points and a 1st place finish at the Brazilian sprint race in around 10 minutes time. If Deflated does take home the fastest lap of the race, I'm sure that will give him confidence for the feature race. But Exotic Planes takes home 8 points, Josh with 7, Wee with 6, Adrian with 5, Scuderia with 4, Carito with 3, Zidane 2, and Mr. Wiggles taking home 1 point. Ots. Platty and CD in the top 10. That's that time penalty for Platty there, just costing him a spot in 8th. TD did well, gain a few places in that race. 10-10 and Joseph outside of the top 10, but I'm sure they are very, very capable of getting into that top 10. Ironically, it's Sonny. It's not been a race to remember for Sonny. Let's just put it that way. Couple of incidents in quali, multiple resets to track, and if someone is affected here, we will have a restart, but that we'll have to wait and see. 36 laps then is underway here in Brazil, and it looks like everyone's off the line, so maybe no restart is in order. Exotic Planes exited turn 1 in the lead. Deflated we passed Josh into second, and Carito with a fantastic start, already up to P4. A couple of gaps forming in that backfield as they're all jockeying for position side by side. Wiggles and Scuderia, Adrian and Scuderia now, sorry, out of turn 5 as they all jockey for position. Oh, a bit wide there from Joseph, overtaken by his teammate and Sonny in the Williams, who has had a very good start. Although he will get a 10-second time penalty for pressing A too soon. That is a very good move there from Sonny. Past IIRL and a bit of contact between the two Ferraris. How many times have we seen that? Oh, and Joseph's round again. More contact. And, well, he said he hasn't had much luck in Brazil this week. I don't think that's going to make him feel too good about this track tonight. Still not over. Lap 2. Let's have a look then at the tyre strategies they're on. Only 5 of the 20 opting for the medium compounds in the opening stint. Carito and Wiggles in the top 5. That is why they've had such good starts. Zidane in 9th. Sonny and Aya in 11th and 12th respectively. That explains their very promising opening laps. Rest of them on the hard compound tyre, hoping to go as late as they can. Try and nail that strategy. Everyone in a big DRS train, with the exception of Joseph Hills at the back of the field. Sonny overtakes Zidane, who has lost out to 10-10 as well. Mr. Wiggles very close here, and now side by side with Carito. Wiggles' pace here looks very good in this opening few laps. May we see Wiggles charging back to the front of the pack. Brazil is one of his stronger tracks. Believe me, I've raced him on this track. He is extremely quick. Snacks and Greg swapping positions for 15th and 16th. Wiggles has already passed one Red Bull on track. Looking for another. Wiggles smells blood here. He senses fresh meat, fresh opportunity. Lost a potential sprint win in the previous race. but needs to get these moves up the field done before he pits, really, if he wants to have a shot of winning this Grand Prix. Otherwise, he's going to have to make moves on the hard compound tyres, which is a slower compound, while the other drivers around him will be on the quicker tyre. Check back in with this interesting fight here for the final point. Sonny currently holding the final point. Zidane Ayapaj lying in wait in the background, hoping that this is their race. Ooh, a little bit wide there from Sonny. And alongside comes Zidane, has the DRS open and takes charge of 10th. Will Sonny be able to fight back down towards turn 4? Zidane's had a very good exit out of turn 3, possibly using some overtake to make sure he stays ahead into the turn 4 braking zone. A little bit wide from Sonny, may have got a warning for that, but nothing too serious. He lost. Still as you were at the front. Exotic deflated. Josh Wiggles, Carito, Adrian, Scuderia. TD behind his teammate in 8th, 10-10 in 9th. And then this battle for 10th. Sonny goes a little bit wide for the second time in 2 laps at turn 12, and this is putting him under a lot of pressure from behind. Aya, will he go for the inside or outside move? Making his mind up. Opted for the outside, a little bit on the grass, no room around the outside there. And check back in. These top folk. Let's have a look at a move. It's turn 4, Platty. And Girthy Steve in turn 4. Joseph Hales has pitted onto the medium compound tyres last time around. So it's going to be a bit of a lonely race for Joseph for a while, but maybe if his pace is good, it can bring him back into this Grand Prix. Obviously, if a safety car came out as well, Joseph Hales has that advantage of already making a pit stop. Oh, and what's happened with Snacks? Losing a bit of time out of turn 12. Yellow flag in sector 3. Greg has gone for a bit of a spin at the exit of turn 12. So that has dropped him down to 19th place. And a bit like Joseph in a bit of no man's land. Possibly Colucci and Platty held up slightly. With that, Snacks gets past his teammate. TD just dropping out of DRS range of his teammate Scuderia. Maybe a mistake in the last lap or two. Has 10-10 right behind him, so TD might find himself switching places with 10-10 during this next 4 or 5 laps. At top 7 now, the runaway group, but Adrian may be at risk of falling out of DRS here. Scuderia not close enough in the first corner. Got one Alpine attacking, one Alpine defending right now. Plenty going on up and down the field. Lap 8 of 36. Still nowhere near halfway. Plenty of action to come. And we are certainly not done with Brazil yet this week. Join us on Sunday night for Assist Tier 2. All races start at 7:30 PM UK time, GMT. Join us for once again another quali session, followed by a sprint race and a feature race. But with the Assist Tier 2 bunch. Scuderia, bit of a wiggle into turn 12, and he has lost a huge amount of time. Speaking of losing time, what's happened with turn 10? Oh, he's gone for a spin. Oh, I hate it when anyone spins. You never want to commentate on someone spinning. But 10-10 pits. And speeds on the way in and retires. Girthy Steve also pits. Joseph L's retired in the pits last lap as well. For those eagle-eyed viewers. I have a Brazil curse, says Hales. Was losing pace to the hard runners on mediums, so don't know what happened. Maybe it's just a matter of setup. Maybe it's tyre pressures, who knows? Girthy Steve had a preset on. Oh dear. Well, the 5-minute break was cut short, so we do apologise. First rage quit of the season for 10-10. Plenty of changes at the front. Mr. Wiggles finally making his move on deflated way. He is losing out to Exotic. And Josh might fancy taking advantage here. That was probably the best opportunity he's had so far to get past the Wii. And further back, Adrian defending from Carito and Scuderia. Adrian losing out at the moment, the DRS to Josh. However, if Adrian can have a good last sector here, might get back within DRS range, which you'd have to say he desperately needs right now to defend his 5th place. Still, anyone in this top 7 could win. Only 4 seconds or 5 seconds separate that top 7. TD has a bit more breathing room behind now that 10-10 has retired from the race, and he might find some pace while all these other guys in front are fighting. Might close that gap up and make it a top 8 fight for the win. Who knows? Hatch ahead. Avaya. My controller batteries are low. I'm going to change them now instead of panicking. Tap on. Well, the 5-minute break was cut short. I'm reluctant to say this, but maybe next time just sit on the grid and don't move. That way we know there's a restart. Yeah, very frustrating when 5-minute break is not done properly. But it's very difficult to obviously know if everyone drives away at the start. We assume nothing's wrong. Oh, Ayers had a bit of a problem. And what turn is that? No, that's And I've been kicked out. Yay! Definitely a full course safety car. Exotic still leads this race. Deflated Wee is still second. Oh, that's interesting. So this then is a perfect opportunity for those pit stops. Deflated Wee stays out. So yes, I can only describe what we saw on screen was not right, not true. Deflated Wee was still in second. No idea what happened, don't ask me. A full course safety car. So I wonder what has brought that out, because there's no new retirements. Plenty of people pitting. In fact, pretty much every single person apart from Deflated Wee has pitted. Deflated to go on to softs. I would say that is not a bad shout. However, softs only lasted about 6 laps, maybe 5 laps, 6 laps in the sprint race. Maybe they can go about 8 in this race. So looking to take those hard tyres to around about lap 28 to 30, I'd say. Can he defend for that long from these guys behind? That is the question. Safety car in this lap. Might be a bit of a bug in this lobby, I'm not too sure. Carito in 6th is saying there's a McLaren lagging. That might be Deflated Wee. Might be what we saw earlier on when I got kicked out. Deflated Wee, when is he going to go for it? Exotic getting alongside, a little bit cheeky, not allowed to be alongside in real F1. And I think he may have lost out as a result. There goes Josh down the inside of the Alfa Romeo, and Josh nailing that restart. As for nailing restarts, Deflated Wee is up there. It's very sad not to have you here, Hissy. Hope you're well, mate. Hope whatever you're up to, you're having fun. Zidane, nice move on TD with a fresh set of hard compound tyres on the car. It is very impressive getting those hards up to temperature and making a move on TD, who is very quick in his own right. Working. Hope all goes well, mate. A little bit of a mistake from Platty. Zidane getting very close to the back of him out of turn 10. Loving this camera angle. Beautiful for safety car restarts. All the cars so close to each other. Aya dropping to the back. Behind Greg. And could see a change for the lead here. Josh down the inside. Deflated Wee. Fighting. Has the line, has the corner. Josh was slightly off track. I'll let you make your mind up at home. But I would say that was Wee's corner. Could argue that he could have left more room, Wee. But I'd say you could easily argue that that was Wee's corner as well. Bit of argy-bargy going on. Side by side, Exotic planes past Josh. It's turn 4, Josh defending from Scuderia, and now Adrian looking to get in on the action as Sonny gets a time penalty down in P13. Aya and Greg switching places, and a collision for the pair. Carito and Adrian now going side by side. Don't know where to look. I think maybe Greg had a bit of a spin. Aya's not caught up with Greg at all. He's on the back of the pack, so have a feeling there that Greg just dropped it in turn 10. TD and Platty have history in the sprint race. TD claimed that Platty took him out. Are the roles going to be reversed? Will we see another incident between these two? Or will we only see good stuff on track? Mr. Wiggles, time penalty, down behind in 9th place. Behind this battle for 7th. Adrian right behind Carito. Carito, as we know, on the hard compound tyres. As TD and Platty going side by side. Will TD go for the move? Platty's left the room. TD alongside. Wiggles behind, lying in wait. TD's had a bit of a sketchy turn 11. Had to be on the outside of the corner. Mr. Wiggles can't make the move. TD stays in 9th, but might be under pressure now. Mr. Wiggles, fights going on behind us as well. Mr. Wiggles, oh, TD fighting really well there. Round the outside of turn 1. Jockeying for position. You get the feeling, if this carries on for another couple of laps, we are going to see something happen. Whether that be an incredible overtake or big crash for someone. Snacks hasn't been in the top 10 since quali. Oh, as in the foreground you see Mr. Wiggles making a huge mistake. Losing out to Zidane. Still in the race. Yellow flag. That is a spinning ire in turn 11. The flat out left-hander. Certainly, Johnny, amazing racing going on. This is why these are the creme de la creme of IIRL. As TD once again defending, back within DRS range of Platty, who's back within DRS range of Carito. This is really impressive stuff from Platty, gaining back. Bit of a nudge from Deflated Wee to Josh. Deflated Wee obviously losing a bit of ground, not making a pit stop yet, but is driving very well on those 19 lap old hard tyres. Exotic though, as we saw in the sprint race, has a 1 second advantage this time to Scuderia, and looking to convert it into 25 points at the end of the race. Yellow flag, Aya, another spin, this time between turns 6 and 7. Everyone else in a nice little train. Josh needs to push hard if he wants to catch Scuderia and stay within DRS range. Scuderia trying to close that gap too. Snacks trying to close the gap to Wiggles. As we see Adrian going down the inside of Deflated Wee at turn 1. Lap 21 of 36, 15 laps to go plus the one they're on. We will have a pole very shortly, in about maybe 10 laps or so. Matty and TD once again going side by side through turn 9. Mr. Wiggles very close to the back of these two. Be a poll coming around about lap 30 for driver of the day, so make sure you tune in for that. You can vote for who you think is driver of the day. Adrian, fastest lap of the race, is really pushing to try and get into the top 3. It's TD makes the move. Platty though will have the DRS out of turn 3. TD does everything in his power to make sure he doesn't get a slipstream. As Wiggles nudges Platty into turn 4 on our screen. Who knows if that's what actually happened or not. For a second, Platty ghosted. Mr. Wiggles has gone for it! Oh, and that's Platty's not spun round. Thankfully. So I'll let you guys at home decide. Was that a bit too eager from Mr. Wiggles, or did Platty shut the door? I will let you be the judges at home. But those are the kind of moves that sometimes you have to do to get past in this tier. Everyone is so similarly paced, especially at a track like Brazil, that sometimes you have to go for a move. Snacks them with the DRS up into 9th. And we'll jump ahead of Wiggles if he can stay within 3 seconds. And Zidane at turn... Oh, in the pits has retired. Thought there was a big crash there, but there wasn't. Unlucky for Zidane, had very good promise here tonight. Very impressed. Hanging it up there with the likes of TD and Platty and Wiggles. Certainly not an easy feat. Thank you for the follow, Lil Kiko 911. Thank you very much. Appreciate the follow. Hope you enjoy all the content here on IIRL. 3 streams a week, all kicking off at 7:30 PM GMT. That is UK time. Assist Tier 1 runs on Thursday night tonight. On Sunday you can catch Assist Tier 2 race here at Brazil. And next week on Tuesday we will have coverage of round 3 in France. Season 4 has just kicked off. Last week was our first race of the season in Baku. You can check out our standings by typing !standings in the chat. Good battle between Greg and Asma Frog here. Greg without the DRS in front. Asma not able to get past at the moment. Platty, after losing 9th place to Snacks, is now defending from Mr. Colucci and Padge. Exotic still leads this race by just over 1 second. Scuderia doing well to not lose any ground on Exotic. Josh and Adrian in DRS range of striking distance of P2. Patch here looking for a point in the race as Mr. Colucci and Platty ahead. Carito looking to take Deflated Wee on here. Remember, Deflated Wee has not made a pit stop, and his pit window is going to be opening very shortly for the soft compound tyres. Deflated Wee here needs to hope that there's a safety car. Otherwise, his chance at points may be very sketchy. Certainly, Deflated Wee has done very well to stay out for that long on those tyres at that pace. He's only 5 seconds behind Adrian. However, I think the gamble hasn't quite worked for him. He does pit this lap, so he'll have 10 laps. Plus this one, so they have 11 laps to do on those soft compound tyres. Behind Carito, TD and Mr. Wiggles lie in wait. TD makes sure that Wiggles doesn't get the slipstream, sticks his car on the left hand side of the track. He knows, these two drivers know that Mr. Wiggles has the time penalty, and that will cost Mr. Wiggles 3 seconds at the end of the race. Same story for Sonny, same story Same story for Aya. Deflator Wee has come out of the pits in 14th. So that gamble really hasn't paid off. And if there's a safety car now, it may come back to him slightly, but I imagine everyone will be pitting onto soft tyres too. Oh, Wiggles! He's lost it. Tapping the barrier may have some rear wing damage, but might be very minimal. This releases TD and Carito to properly fight now. Yellow flags. Wiggles returning to the track in 12th, so his hope at points possibly could be over. And that just shows one mistake and you go from P7 to P12. One mistake can cost you points or a shot at either a podium or a win. And unfortunately, Mr. Wiggles has had a couple of good opportunities here. Was winning the sprint race, had a spin at turn 12, ended up finishing 8th and getting a point. But unfortunately, those little unforced errors are just costing him some major points here. As for everyone else, it's a credit to them that they can avoid those kind of mistakes. Mr. Wiggles has retired in the pits. Deflator Wee is catching Greg so quickly. He's caught up by at least 4 seconds in the last lap. So he's got the pace here. What can Deflated Wee produce in this final 8 laps? Snacks and TD trading places, and what's happened to TD? He's spun at turn 7, at turn 9 even, and oh, it was going oh so well for TD. Oh, and very hard to get back on track with those warm tyres on the car. And TD's hope of points may have just vanished before his eyes. Was running up in 5th place. Now down to 13th. And Adrian has dropped. I've just noticed, as TD has made a mistake, Adrian has dropped from just behind Josh to behind Carito and Snacks. So what's happened to Adrian? It all happened at once. TG and Adrian seem to have had a bit of a hoo-ha at the same time. Adrian has lost a potential shot at a podium here tonight. Carito up to 4th. Snacks, brilliant drive up to 5th so far. Colucci, Padge, Sonny, all in the points through keeping their race as clean as they can. Here comes Adrian now. DRS open, and Snacks no way to defend. However, Snacks can fight back out of turn 3 if he has a good exit. Thank you for the follow, Seltzer Bubble. Appreciate that. Hope you're really well. Welcome into IRL. 3 streams per week. Exclamation mark IIRL in the chat for more information. Lap 30 of 36. Still a fight for second. Scuderia not managing to get within DRS range of Exotic here. Exotic is racing this race brilliantly. 31 of 36. 5 more laps, plus the one they're on. Exotic leads 1.4 seconds. Poll is up and live. For the next 3 minutes, you can vote for who you think deserves driver of the day. We have Exotic, we have Scuderia, we have Padge and Colucci, or you can vote for someone else. If you do vote for someone else, let us know in the comments who you think deserves to win it. Adrian, past Snacks. I actually forgot to put Snacks in the vote. He's up 12 places. It really has been a very impressive drive from Snacks, up 12 from 18th after retiring in the sprint race pretty early on. He has had a blinder, and this is the Snacks we know can turn up. Sometimes last season it just didn't quite work for him, didn't quite happen. Stars didn't quite align. Colucci, again, very consistent on his day, proving why he deserves a spot in this tier. Up 10. Really impressive stuff. Scuderia has been very quick out in the front, but Exotic Plains is controlling this race from start to finish. And so far has been the one to beat. Josh, meanwhile, has, although he's lost a place in this Grand Prix, he has always been in contention and is only 2 seconds off the lead. One mistake for these top three could cost them a podium or a race win. Carito's also had a very solid race, but his metal is coming under increasing pressure now from Adrian, who we know has pace for days. Currently Scuderia winning the vote with 2 votes. Anyone can vote, you don't have to be in this league. If you've been watching, feel free to vote. Won't cost you anything. Ooh, bit of a wiggle for Adrian, costing him a 10th or 2. Not too much though. And Exotic has made a slight mistake here, and he's allowed Scuderia with an outside shot at possibly the race win. We said one tiny mistake could cost you a podium or a race win. It looks like Exotic has made a very minute mistake, which has allowed Scuderia an opening. These final 3 laps now are going to be critical. Exotic still leads. Scuderia and Josh, all 3 do not have time penalties. This will be decided on track. Josh will be hoping that these 2 in front start to battle and present Josh with an opportunity to make a move. But Exotic here has had a very good turn 12 and has gained just over a 10th. Might help him to defend into turn 1. Plenty of fights up and down the field. Padge is on the back of Platty for a shot at 8th place. Adrian still on the back of Carito, what we saw a few moments ago. Waiting for one to get a penalty after you've said that. There's no such thing as a commentator's curse, we all know it. And it's going to be proven. I really hope these 3 keep it clean. Prove me right for once. Deflated Wee with those soft tyres now back into the top 10 and should keep in the top 10. Got a 5-second advantage over Sonny in 11th. May have to settle for 10th as Aya pits. 1 more lap plus the one they're on. This is so close. You want nail-biting finishes. Exotic, bit of a wiggle out of turn 12, and here comes Scuderia. That was the opening that Scuderia, and more importantly, Josh was hoping for. Double mistake. Double move. Exotic, oh, he's been spun. We weren't on board with Exotic to know what happens, but he has lost the win. And maybe that one mistake out of turn 12 was the nail in the coffin. Adrian is past Carito. And now, will Josh win the race? Or will Scuderia win this one? It's going to come down to the final corner. The DRS won't be as powerful out of turn 12 because they cross the line halfway down the straight. So this could be Josh's final opportunity. Get a good exit out of turn 12. Dump all the ERS. Get the slipstream. Make the move. 3/10. Hard to call. Scuderia. 4 places on the game in this race and takes the checkered flag by 0.2 of a second, winning the Brazilian Grand Prix. TD steals the fastest lap on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Exotic does get a podium, but what could have or maybe should have been a potential race win. Carito and Snacks cross the line. Very impressive performances, as well as Colucci, who finishes in 7th. Deflated Wee will finish 8th on track, but will lose 8th to Platty. Padge does get a point in the Grand Prix. Sonny comes home 11th, but possibly with some time penalties after the race. Greg, 12th place, just missing out on Sonny, but if Sonny does get time penalties, Greg will be promoted to 11th. Asma Frog finishes in 13th. Aya will cross the line in 14th, and TD a lap down, does get the fastest lap, and will finish in 15th place. Mr. Wiggles, Zidane, Steve, 1010, Joseph Hales all retiring earlier in the Grand Prix. So Josh, who knows? All we can say for now, Scuderia winning the chat vote for driver of the day. I have to say, a very strong contender. Josh and Exotic do finish on the podium. Very well done to those two. Adrian, Carito, Snacks, Colucci, Platty, Wee, Padge, all getting valuable points. Well, I can breathe now. Nice one, Snacks, says El Hasco. And I do have to say, Snacks will be driver of the day tonight. Very close fight between him, Colucci, and Scuderia for driver of the day. Exotic as well. If that collision with Josh wasn't his fault, very, very hard done by to lose that win. But I have to say, Snacks has fulfilled his potential tonight and will be driver of the day. Colucci very, very close to getting it, as well as Scuderia. Strong performances from Padge too. From TD before that spin as well. Platty keeping it clean. Brilliant fight with TD in that race. Adrian, Carito, all very impressive stuff as well.